You're watching Notepad. I'm your host, Ibrahim Sani. We have a treat for you this evening. This is because very, very soon, Malaysia's MEASAT, or Malaysia's only satellite company, MEASAT Satellite Systems Sdn Bhd, a great collaborator with Astro actually, is going to launch their MEASAT 3D satellite on the 22nd of June this year. My colleagues Nailah as well as our cameraman Airul is going to Africa actually to witness the launch. But why are we launching the new satellite? Why are we still focusing on this most pivotal area of infrastructure and network? Well, to answer this question is Yau Chyong Lim, the Chief Operating Officer of MEASAT. Yau, thanks again for taking the time to come over to our humble abode here in Bukit Jalil. It's always an interesting conversation to be had when we talk to MEASAT, largely because in this day and age, people keep on talking about 5G, 4G, fiber optic network and many others, and yet satellite still remains pivotal in today's day and age. Let's do a quick rundown into how MEASAT continues to invest in satellite infrastructure and technology to further enable the contribution towards closing the information gap between those that have and those that have not in terms of information in this country.
Okay, so MEASAT established back in 1992, and since then we have launched 7 satellites, and MEASAT 3D will be our 8th satellite. And MEASAT 3D is just not another new project for MEASAT, but it is a national important project because on the MEASAT 3D itself, we have this high throughput satellite capacity, which specifically designed and optimized for the Malaysia and to close the digital divide in Malaysia. So today we do have certain capacity that serve the Malaysian market, specifically in the rural area. And we see that this is very important that we as a only satellite operator in Malaysia play our role in this digital infrastructure. The area that we are serving today is a true remote area, specifically in the East Malaysia, and to the certain extent there are also certain Kampung Orang Asli settlement in the West Malaysia. So with this new satellite itself, we have increase or expand the capacity from the existing 3 gigabit of bandwidth to 30 gigabit of bandwidth. Mm-hmm. And also what does it mean is that we can serve more people and also upgrade our service from the current 3 megabit per second to 100 megabit, from the 30 megabit per second to 100 megabit per second.
Mm-hmm. We want to also look at the cost, right?
Yeah.
How much are you guys investing in particular?
So for the whole project itself, the project cost is about 1.2 billion ringgit. Mm-hmm. And that includes the satellite, the launcher, insurance, and all the ground infrastructure.
Okay, and how is MEASAT making that money back?
So in this business itself, I think it's a long-term investment. And apart from the broadband capacity that we have, we also have the KU band and C band that is basically served as a business continuity for our existing client. So that gives us the base of our business case. And for the broadband service, it's really, it's a long-term business whereby, the margin itself is relatively low. As you can imagine that, we are serving those very remote area, the affordability of the people, taking that into consideration. It is a long-term business that we have to, be sustainable.
So there are 2 things that is critical for us to explore in terms of branding the project. Number 1 is, of course, Jendela, Jalinan Digital Negara, which we have heard from various parties. I want to pick your brains on that one in a bit. But the second one is, of course, Connect Me Now.
Connect Me.
Yeah, Connect Me Now is a broadband service that serves both the underconnected and unconnected in rural and interior areas, some of which you were mentioning just now. Now, this solution, is it one and the same? Is it covering the same areas, or is it very different in terms of Connect Me Now and Jendela?
So maybe I just take a step back. So about 3 years ago, we did a strategic review on the company direction. So MEASAT being a satellite company, and just like any other company, satellite company itself, our bread and butter is in the broadcasting. But we see that the trend change, the demand, the requirement is all changing. So 3 years ago, we started to venture into this broadband business. So we see there's an opportunity there, and we see that there's a huge demand for that, the services, especially in the rural area. So that's where we come up with this Connect Me Now model, or the business model. when we first started, is 100% is our pure, commercial initiative, and after 2 years plus, we successfully rolled out 2,500 sites nationwide. And end of last year itself, MCMC started off their Jendela project, and one of those is that they, through the USP fund, they initiated this called the Broadband Wireless Access project, and this is basically kind of like very similar to our Connect Me Now model or the services. So how MCMC look at it is that area that Connect Me Now is already covered or provided service, they are trying not to do a overlapping. So they would look at other areas. There are still many other kampong or the villages that still have no coverage. So I think both our Connect Me Now and the Jendela project, I think, is work out very well and complement each other.
Okay. While the country is still trying to understand the 5G rollout deployment with DNB or Digital National Berhad, right, and the conversation that's still revolving with the 4 MNOs in particular, the 5G rollout is actually quite slow in terms of deployment, unfortunately. And while other countries are, I wouldn't say fast in deploying, they're just deploying, they're just doing the work, chugging along, and we're really behind. In fact, a recent study by DNB itself shows that Malaysia is actually, 10th, 11th country in terms of slowness of deploying 5G. Do you feel that because of all this hoo-ha that's currently happening to 5G, the deployment of the 4G Jendela is actually more critical than ever? Yes, we are still not getting 5G, but we need to get some form of internet. How important is that conversation of that Jendela program or 4G deployment in these unserved and underserved areas?
So what we see is that irregardless that whether there's still the ongoing discussion of this 5G arrangement between the few party, the area that we serve, I would say that is the area that the telco today they would not consider that, because first thing is that economy is not viable. Some of those villages is that it can be like as small as like just 20 household. So from the economic point of view, it doesn't make sense for those telco to set up a tower, put their infra into the area. So satellite, I think, exactly target those areas. So from the day one we launched the satellite, we have 100% coverage over the country, and we can be very surgical, go to exactly the area that whether it's like a 20 household or 100 household, as long as you have a dish can point to the satellite, then the service can be provided. Also, the different thing is that because the technology that we bring forward into this area is relatively small in a sense, so it's easy to deploy to those remote areas. And also, don't forget that in a remote area, very frequent electric is a key issue. So for our services itself, even though without the electric, we can put in the solar system and we can power up our system and get the service up overnight.
Okay, we'll go for one short break. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit more with MEASAT satellite systems. Welcome back. I have with me the MEASAT Satellite Systems Berhad Chief Operating Officer Yau Chyong Lim. Yau, one of the big, bold statements that MEASAT has been saying is that Connect Me Now allows for 100% coverage of underserved and unserved for internet. You can appreciate the kind of skepticism that's coming in from the market. What technology is driving this claim or marketing claim, I suppose, to a point where 100% of Malaysians are going to be served by getting internet using your services?
So there are 2 points, right? First thing is that with the satellite technology itself, once it's launched operational, we provide 100% coverage in terms of the service area. So in order to get the service, so the end user or MEASAT as a service provider, we need to put a dish at the villages to point to the satellite, and then from there that village itself will get the service. So today, if you look at the statistic itself, MCMC mentioned that there are probably about 3% of the population still uncovered. So with the Jendela initiative itself, with the satellite solution, we target, or MCMC target, to cover to provide 100% internet coverage to the nation. So of course, if there's any other villages that miss out, and we can very quickly, go to the site and set up the dish and start to provide the service.
Okay, there's also that whole notion of downtime that could be suffered by normal day-to-day usage. What will be the kind of risk that is involved for consumers when it comes to downtime? Yes, you get the coverage, but can you get it all the time?
So I think, like, put it in this way, right? So before MEASAT or ConnectMe go into the site, they have zero coverage. They have zero services. So with the type of technology that we provide, you can easily provide the 99.5 whatever number is. So relative term itself, that a small percentage of the downtime, I would say that is something that probably people can tolerate.
Why has it taken so long for this to be done? It's 2022.
So I think there are two things. So one is that in terms of the capacity, so we are already addressing it by launching our MEASAT 3D on the 22nd of June this year. It's probably like about 2 weeks from now.
Yep.
And the other challenges is that go to the remote site. I think that is probably the most challenging part. So these villages are at the very remote area. Some of them, most of the area, they don't even have like a postcode or address. So we have to take boat, drive the 4-wheel drive, access in the site. Sometimes can take anything from like 2 days up to the 7 days, that kind of thing. So go to the site itself, that is one that they really take time.
Let's talk into the type of people that came about to bring this together. What were the kind of considerations that MEASAT had to pull together, the kind of resources that you guys have to pull together to make it work at MEASAT?
So I think this is the whole ecosystem that we have to build out. So firstly, of course, we need to have our satellite and also the technology at our teleport. So that's only part of the equation. I think more importantly is that we need to build up a network or distribution network or agent at the remote area, such that this service can be sustainable. So as you can imagine that this area are very remote, so we need to have the local support, and also more important thing is that we need these services to be self-sustained. So I think it's good to provide all the free services, but the thing is that we're talking about the sustainability. I think that's the challenge. So our model is that it's like a prepaid service. So consumer will pay for it when they need it. So I think with that itself, that will help the whole ecosystem work. So
but my question is on MEASAT itself, your organization, the company that you're representing internally. What was going through into getting this project up and running? Walk through us the kind of work that was done, the kind of collaboration that was needed.
So internally itself, I think the big thing is the mindset change. Given that we are all the while doing this B2B type of business. So in the past, our our customer base is not that many. So it's all the big corporations.
So
Astro, the telco, the big telco, the type of the broadcaster, such as the BBC or whatnot, this kind of customer. So in order for us to move from that B2B to B2C, I think mindset change, that is a big challenge for us.
I'm pretty sure.
Because, to start off with, the organization itself is not structured to the B2C. So with that itself, and then we have gone through 3 years, I think we are still working through it to make sure that our staff themselves make this mindset change. And in the past, when we serve our corporate customer, sign a contract, you do a 1-link budget, customer uplink, probably that's about it. Then you just make sure that the service is up there. So the type of interaction with the end customer is minimum. Whereas now, you're serving the end user. So you have to really go down to, from the time that you procure the equipment, deliver it to the site, and from the site itself, you start to install it and set up the link and sell the voucher to the end user. So the whole system itself, apart from our own MEASAT team, we also rely heavily with our partner. In this case, our distributor and the agent.
And the distributor and agent is varied, or you have a single distributor and single agent?
We have a couple of those distributors. It depends on the region. Again, this is a very, very localized type of service. So the distributor in West Malaysia, probably they can't do the same job in, say, Sabah and Sarawak.
Absolutely,
and
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, there's also that whole notion of customer, I guess, retention, acquisition, and you are a COO. Some B2C companies put everything under COO. Do you feel that there has to be some form of clearer definition into what needs to be done to tackle the consumers? I don't know, consumer business head or something like that. Is that being created?
So we are going through that process. So if we have an ongoing restructuring and refining our organization structure.
Yeah.
So there are certain skill set that we do not have, then we have to acquire.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, we work with partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's pretty scary. B2C is a
it's
very
a
scary
totally
business.
different animal altogether.
You bet. But at the same time, it can be highly rewarding. The top 100 companies, biggest top 100 companies in the world, 78% of them are consumer companies.
Sure.
There's a reason for that, because consumers do really drive the needle when it comes to making the bottom line work. Because of this, do you feel that there's a sense of excitement, but at the same time hesitation level right now at MEASAT?
Yeah, I think people in general, they are excited to look at the service being rolled out. When we turn on the service, you can look at all those the rakyat or the penduduk there. They feel really happy enjoying it. From that itself,
Because of your work, they are happy.
We feel very rewarding.
Of course, it's a direct
but
correlation.
At the same time, that's hell a lot of work. Just to get one side up.
Absolutely, it's a consumer business, brother.
It is. So, I mean, as I mentioned, nothing to hide. We are from the B2B now changed to the B2C. I think that transformation itself we are still going through it, and definitely it's not easy.
It's not easy. Handling customers is.
Yeah.
Well, it's always an experience. Okay, we'll go for one short break. When we come back, we'll talk about the 3D launch that is happening on the 22nd of June. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back. This is Notepad. I have with me in the studio the COO of MEASAT Satellite Systems. They are the satellite provider for this country. On 22nd of June, two of my colleagues, Naila as well as Airul, is going to French Guiana to witness the launch. Yau himself is going to witness the launch. I'm pretty sure it's not your first satellite launch. It's a boring thing for you, but I'm pretty sure many of us are actually quite excited. Talk to us through this launch. First of all, why French
Guiana?
French Guiana, and why not? I don't know.
So I think the first thing is that we signed a contract with Airbus to build the satellite, and the rocket or the launcher itself is from Arianespace. So how it works is that each of the launcher, they have their own we call it the launch site. So for example, SpaceX probably they launch it from Florida, Proton launch it from Baikonur, and Arianespace they launch it from French Guiana. So in the whole world itself, there's not many launch sites to start out with. So to choose a launch site, it has to be like remote enough, just in case anything happens, it won't hit people. So that is one of the key consideration.
Okay.
So because of our contract is with Ariane, so the launch site will be in the French Guiana, South America. So today the satellite is already delivered at the site, and the engineer are very busy checking all the components to make sure that everything is ready for launch. So we have a couple of engineers based in French Guiana now, work together with the Airbus engineer around the clock to make sure that the satellite ready for launch on the 22nd June this month. And we are very excited about it, and at the same time also feel a bit nervous because launching a satellite is a very risky event. The launching itself take only about like 40 minutes to complete the whole process. But during this whole process itself, it is really
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
How much does it cost to send a satellite to space?
As I say, the whole project cost is about 300 million US, about 1.2 billion ringgit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was so kind of expensive if things don't go according to plan.
It is a quite exciting moment.
Okay. You don't look too excited. You don't look nervous. Is what it is.
As I say, this satellite is very important to us, and also very important to the nation as well.
Yeah, of course.
Especially our role in supporting MCMC to bridge the digital divide, and also meet the mission of the 100% internet coverage in the country.
How many headcount is involved in this particular launch? I've never launched a satellite. I'm the first person that I'm speaking to when it comes to these kind of things.
Okay, to be honest, I think I do not know,
Yeah.
because Airbus have the whole team
Yeah.
working on it. Ariane, they also have a whole team,
Uh-huh.
and we also have our own team, work together with them.
How long does it take in terms of the planning of this?
Okay, it's a very good question. So satellite business is a very, I would say that, it's kind of weird that I say. Today, when we plan for a business, 3 years is considered a long-term business. From the time we say, okay, I want to launch a satellite. So you probably take about a year to plan to, figure out, what kind of a satellite configuration that you want to. So once you have that, then you start to issue your RFP. Choose your
Buying a printer.
yeah, then you choose your vendor.
Uh-huh.
And once you have selected that, you kickstart all the like preliminary review, design review, critical design review, things like that. And from the time you start to have that review until you build up it, it probably takes you about 3 years.
Yeah, okay.
So,
and of course, it has to be institutionalized because sometimes people leave, new people join, those kind of stuff, right?
So 3 years, but from the time that we start to plan, the satellite typically is last for 15 to 18 years.
Oh, okay.
So you basically have to plan for almost like a 20 year ahead.
Wow, really?
So it's really tough.
And
you need to have a crystal ball.
but of course, MEASAT has been doing this for quite some time.
It is. It's
Does it
quite
get
challenging.
better over time, or it's like every launch is a new baby?
Every time is a new one. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So especially as I say, you're trying to forecast or plan ahead for the 20 years. It is almost like a mission impossible job.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. Okay. We're going to be airing the launch on Astro AWANI.
Okay.
I don't know whether we're going to do it live or not, depending on the satellite provider of Astro. Subsequently, it's MEASAT. But generally speaking, I'm sure a lot of us are actually going to stay at the edge of our seats to watch this. What will be some of the key points that you think audiences should look out for when it comes to this launch?
I think first thing is that, if they want to watch live, they have to wake up like probably very early in the morning.
Okay.
We're talking about like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Because that's the local time
It's
in
normal.
French.
Malaysians watch EPL all the time. Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Second thing is that, with this new satellite itself, as I say, it's really going to help the nation to close the digital gap and provide 100% internet coverage to the country.
Yeah, definitely. And high time, to be frank. It's 2022. Of course, there's plenty that needs to be discussed even further with MEASAT. But at Astro AWANI, we're going to be covering the launch and the whole conversation of not just Jendela, MEASAT itself, and the MEASAT 3D satellite. We're going to be talking about Connect Me Now, which is, of course, talking about the underserved and unserved in terms of network connectivity in Malaysia. These are the conversations that is going to matter the most, not all the other noise that you hear from the political sphere, from the racial divide, many other stuff in between. Internet connectivity is critical. It's as critical as getting electricity as well as water supply to your homes as well. This is 2022 we're talking about. So those that have higher internet speed do have or register higher productivity nationwide. GDP growth is higher when a country has high broadband speeds. This is all objectifiable targets. So it's important for us to get back and get behind MEASAT in their rollout for this Connect Me Now program and the satellite, the 3D satellite as well. Until then, thanks very much for watching and goodbye.